Almost everyone has a pair of shoes, but not everybody has a pair of boots. Dash here, but I go over some features that I look for when purchasing a boot. Now, generally you wear boots for added protection and also added support. So I'm going to kind of give you some of my experience and what I've encountered and what I look for in a boot. Might not be the most expert advice, but I'll tell you I've walked several hundred miles in hiking boots, and I just wanted to show you a couple examples of what I have, so let's get started. Now, my philosophy for boots is to try to get the best that I can afford at that time. Some of these boots you see in front of you are several $100s, others, just a couple, $40, $50. So it depends on what I'm looking in that boot and what type of quality I want. I'd rather buy a piece of quality product rather than having to buy something not so much great value every year or so. I'd rather keep something and take care of it that will also protect me along the way. I want to kind of go through these boots and why they apply to their specific applications. Brands aren't necessarily specific, but I'll tell you what I look for these applications. For a general winter boot, where I'm not doing much walking around, maybe just shoveling some snow, mainly just look for something that's going to be fairly waterproof for the lower part of your boot, as well as a removable liner, so when it gets damp, not from the snow, but actually from your body perspiring, you want to be able to take that out, especially when it's cold and damp. You don't want that in a cold environment. Next we have our cowboy boots. Now I just put some spurs on there for style. I had it for my Halloween costume last year. But a cowboy boot is going to be used for environments where you have a lot of brush around and you need that added protection. And you see, it might as well just be a style as well, because I mean usually cowboy boots are a good investment. I got these only for about $45, so they're not top quality, but I'll tell you what, they just were good for the time I needed them. Now all you avid skiers out there will notice that these are pretty serious skiing boots. They're Dolomites. I got them on huge discount, and they even have graphite shafts in there to keep the stability and still allow flexibility. So these will basically keep the snow out of your way. They have all kinds of adjustments, and this basically makes for an extremely hard boot to put on, but an even more comfortable boot once you're skiing. So there's a pair of snow boots for you. The Dolomite snow boots were not radical enough. I've got some City Vertigo Corsa Air boots. Now these things look awesome, but the main thing I love about these boots is their protection. They have protection against the shin and also rocks and whatever debris might get up your toes when they're sliding on the pavement. They have added tension here on top of your arch so your toes won't jam forward if you hit your toes. The heel's padded, your ankles are protected, you've got good ventilation in it. So all around, I love these boots. Also good grip on the pavement. Alright, now in this back row we have some, I guess you'd call them Wellingtons, or just good old rubber boots for the water. You're trucking through some marshlands or whatever you need, these will definitely keep you dry. Steel shanks, I mean they are what they are, so nothing much to say about those. Now, let's say you're an ultralight hiker and you're not going to want boots per se. You want maybe something with a little less weight and maybe not ankle protection, but still good grip. I have these Columbia shoes. They've got excellent traction on the bottom and very good lacing and good breathability. So this is also fairly lightweight. I forget I don't know what model these were, but I got them on Tech Light, if that helps any, but I got these on extreme discount for $45, so I'll tell you what, that was an awesome deal. Now, I stole my roommate's shoes. I didn't steal it, I asked him for it, but for one more example of boots you might be interested in, and that'd be Timberlands. Now, two reasons you might want to wear these. One is for style, or two might be for work, and also maybe a brand that you would want to put steel toes in them for your job. You might be required to wear a steel toe shoe for that, again, for the added protection from the elements or the work environment. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get to our work boots, our hiking boots, and we'll talk a little bit more detail about those. See? I was thinking ahead. Check that out. Alright, so what we've got here are my two hiking boots. Primarily I'll use these about 3 seasons, and these be my winter boots if I'm not going to go snowshoeing and wear my actual snow boots you saw previously. So I'm going to go ahead and start with these, and we'll talk about the features that I purchased them for and what I would use them for specifically. Now these are guide gear from Sportsman's Guide, and I took some silicone spray to help with the water resistance. And the reason I use these in winter months, I'll open the side here, and you might be able to see there's a little bit of thickness to them. That's because they're insulated. These are actually meant for the summer and hot desert climates, I believe. But I thought that worked just as well as winter months. I've taken these down to 7 degrees, and they were cool, but they were effective. So I will definitely use these again next year in the wintertime. I only paid about $40 from these. They're guide gear from Sportsman's Guide, and I did pay for it in the fact that these soles are extremely flexible. And while they're, rocks will be okay, over time your feet do wear out, and I'm still kind of curious how well the zipper will hold out. So they did stay warm, but past that I wouldn't go hiking too far with these boots. Last pair are my Loa hiking boots. I wish I knew the brand, although it really does probably not matter too much because they weren't in production anymore. These I've had for well over 5 or 6, well, about 6 years now, and I've hiked well over 250 miles in them that I can at least know of and count for. Plenty more in addition. Now, I've definitely had my fair share of not taking care of these boots. I recently put some sort of protectant on it, and it's only going to do an okay job, but one thing you want to look for, especially in a hiking boot, is weather resistance. When you're hiking out there in the elements, you're going to have your rain gear with you, but your boots really aren't going to be protected. Even if you have gaiters, you're only going about to here. So you want to make sure you have rain resistance in at least your ankle and below. And a lot of times what they'll do is inside the tongue here, there'll be a little flap which prevents debris and water from getting past there. Again, you can spray silicone on it. You can touch, if it's leather like this is, you can put different kind of protectants on it. And one thing I've neglected to do is replace my laces, which I know it's time to do. So we'll get to that. Alright, we'll try and get you a little closer look at what's going on here. Now, you'll notice these have Vibram soles. And that's not necessarily going to be the only ones to go to, but it's basically a known quantity if you're not sure and you're new to the shoe market and you have two side by side and they're both the same price point. I would go with the Vibram, simply because it's a known quantity, as I said, and it's going to be durable as well as hold up to the elements and give you good traction at the same time. One more feature I want to point out about boots that you want to make sure you're going to be comfortable in is the sole. When you're stepping on uneven terrain like rocks, you want to make sure that you have both good traction and stability. You can see this is fairly firm tread on here, so I've gone over many Colorado mountains and also here in the Appalachian Trail, and these boots have held up extremely well. That's just another thing you want to be looking at when you're looking at the design of your boot and your selection of it. How is it going to grip the terrain that you'll be walking on? A feature I like about these boots is they have leather on the inside, and they're a little bit perforated to give a little bit of breathability, but anyone who's hiked more than a day or two will realize that at the end of the day you need to take your boot off and let them air out. So what I'm trying to find is a good hiking boot with decent protection from my elements, but even more important, breathability, so I can go a little bit further and a little bit longer before I have to take them off and let them dry out. The reason for this video is actually for a contest entry for the Magnum Boots channel, and they have a pair of Spider 8.1 Urban SZ boots that they are giving away to a lucky contestant, which I hope to be. And I'm going to go over a couple details about that specific boot. Similar in design to these, they are a combat style boot, and they could be used as EMT or police force as well. They have a 1650 denier ballistic nylon on the outside, a TPU exoframe reinforcement, and what's really cool is they've got this super fabric material and a neat sole design for fast rappelling. Now, I'll never use that, but that's still an awesome feature because that means it has quality materials and definitely can put up with a lot of hard use. Now, I'm really excited about this company because they were essentially separated from their sister company in 2002, and ever since have been producing some awesome quality boots. I've had a couple friends have them, and they have had nothing but positive remarks about them. And the only reason simply why I haven't purchased them is I received these boots before I attended college, and since then the only other pair of boots I've purchased are these cowboy boots. Like I said, were about $45, and these, which are about the same price as well. So I'm on a budget, so it'd be completely awesome if I could get this pair of boots just for that simple reason. So we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching again.